Yo. What is up, everybody? Buddy. And welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. So today, guys, I'm sure as you can tell, we are bringing back the tier list videos. I know a very long time ago, like a few months back, I made tier lists on Pool 1 and Pool 2 cards, and I did say I would eventually get around to Pool 3. However, I sort of put it on the back burner a little bit. But now, here we are ranking all of the Pool 3 cards. And essentially how I rank it, of course, it's just personal preference, how I like the cards, how they do in decks that I use, so of course it is going to be different from everyone else's. Also, like, how much you end up using the cards, because sometimes cards can be good, but you just don't use them, like, a lot. And I mean, yeah, we're just gonna hop right into it. As you guys can see towards the end here, it does include cards that recently did get added into Pool 3, that were from like Pool 4 that moved down. So I guess we'll be including them as well. And yeah, before we hop right into it, if you guys want to give the video a big thumbs up and let me know if you want to see, I guess, Pool 4 tier list, maybe Pool 5 or both of them, depending on how many cards in each pool. Because I could make a tier list on those pools as well. But yeah, starting off, we do get Adam Warlock, who I'm going to put him at like C or D. I don't know. I have seen some decks with Adam Warlock. He's kind of an iffy card, right? He's a 2 cost but 0 power. However, if you are winning the location, you will draw an extra card, which is pretty good. However, 99% of the time, I mean, he's really difficult to play early on, because it is very rare that you're winning a location after turn 1, let alone keep him at that location and keep drawing cards. So, in the end, he kind of ends up being like a liability. However, I have seen some decks where he does work really well, so I guess I'll put him at D. Also, something I forgot to mention, guys, is that all these cards are subject to change. So I might move Adam Warlock down, I might move him up, who knows, but right now I guess I'll keep him in D. Next we have Arrow, who, she's up here for me, dude. I might have to go S or A. I think for now I'm gonna keep her at A, just because she's a 5 cost 8 power. However, her ability is that on reveal you get to like pull opponents to where Arrow is played, right? So if your opponent is planning on dropping like some super crazy card, if you end up playing Arrow will move that card into the location she's being played at to kind of stop their plan, basically. So she's a very good lane winner. She can easily win you a lane by stopping your opponent's plans. I've had it where my opponent will play like a Black Panther and then Taskmaster, but she'll pull both of them together, which essentially negates their effects because they're trying to spread out the power throughout the lanes, so she can be really strong. So she might go up to S, but for right now she's staying at A. Agatha Harkness. Ooh, she might C or D for me. I'm gonna put her at C. 6 cost but 14 power. If you guys don't know, basically, when you have Agatha in your deck, she essentially ends up playing cards. She ends up just playing cards for you. So, if you guys know the location, I believe it's called Ego, where Ego will end up playing cards for you as well. She basically does the same thing. She'll always start in your hand, and any chance she gets, she'll always play herself. So, a lot of people use Wave when they play Agatha, because then Agatha will drop herself on turn 5, and then on turn 6 you can play your own. Because once she's out on the board, her effect doesn't work anymore. I mean, she's really strong, but I mean, you would not see people run her like competitively or whatever. And also when you use her in a deck, she always gets the boosters, like always. Like, every time you play Agatha in your deck, at the end of a game, you always get the boosters every single time. So, I mean, take that as you will, but that's just something I picked up noticing playing Agatha. Next up is Arnim Solar, who I'll put him at B. Yeah, I'll put him at B. I do use Arnim Solar with Black Panther a lot because he's really, really good. If you guys don't know, he's a 6 cost but 0 power, and his ability is that he destroys one card at the location he's played at, and he'll copy them to each other location. So, like I said before, I like using it with Black Panther, because I'll play Black Panther, his power will double. I'll play Arnim Solar will destroy Black Panther, create a copy at both the other locations if there's room, and if he can. And Black Panther's ability will reactivate because it counts as like on reveal. So his ability will activate and his power will double again, which is why I love using Arnim Solar with Black Panther, and I'm sure Arnim Solar will work wonders with other cards as well. But yeah, I put him at B because he works really well. It is mainly just his ability that is good, like his power. 0 is not that good, but his ability is so good. Next we have Baron Mordo, who I'm going to put at D just because I don't use him personally. If I remember, he did end up getting changed. I don't remember what the change is, but from what I remember, when you play Baron Mordo, your opponent draws a card from their deck, and the cost of that card becomes 6. If I'm not mistaken, so I believe it's still that. I could be wrong. Please let me know down in the comments if I am, but yeah, Baron Mordo is gonna have to be there because I don't think I've ever used him. I don't really see a reason as to why I would use him. 2 cost 3 power, so he's solid, but like other than that, I don't know, his ability's not the greatest. Like, yeah, it can throw your opponent off, but it's not the greatest. So he's just right next to Adam Warlock for me. Now we have Beast. I'll put Beast at C. Of course, 2 cost, 2 power. His ability is when you play him, I don't know how to explain this, but if you already have cards at the location Beast is played at, you get those cards back into your hand. So they get removed from the board, back into your hand, minus 1 cost, so they cost 1 less energy, which can be really good. It's really good if like you're running a destroy deck and the opponent plays his armor and they're like, oh no, gotta play Beast, get all those cards back. First of all, they're cheaper, and second of all, you can set up the strategy at another location, so it is pretty good. Next we have Black Bolt, who I'll go at like C. Personally don't really use him, but coming in at a 5 cost and 8 power, he's pretty solid. His ability, if I remember, is you discard, I think it's your opponent discards the lowest cost card in their deck, in their hand. I don't know if you discard anything as well, but from my knowledge, I believe it's just your opponent discards the lowest cost card in their hand, so See, personally, I love Brood. I would put Brood at B, but I'm gonna have to go C. Like I said, I love him personally. When you play Brood, you spawn into other Broodlings at that location that have the same power. The only reason I love Brood is because with Patriot, Brood works so well and Brood also takes up a bunch of board space super quickly. So if you get a location like the Raft, where you have to fill up a location first in order to get a free 6 cost card, Brood is wonderful because he basically takes up 3 spaces with 1 card. And again, with Patriot, that's a lot of good power as well. So yeah, I like Brood. I'll put him at C. Captain Marvel, I will put her... I'll put her at B. She could easily go up to A, but 5 cost, 6 power. Her ability is, at the end of the game, if you have a chance to win the game, she will move to that location to win the game. I don't know if I explained it correctly, but basically, if I'm losing 2 locations, and I'm winning 1 location, and let's say the game's ended, I've lost, if I have Captain Marvel on the board, if I have a chance to win one of the 2 locations I'm losing, she will move there, and hopefully, when she moves there, she gives me the power advantage, so then I win. It is a bit difficult to explain, but basically, she's a very good card to have if you're having a really close game, and she can also throw your opponent off because they might be like, yes, I won. Then Captain Marvel moves, and you're like, oh no, I just lost. Right, so she can clutch up. She's very, she can be very helpful, so that's why I put her at B. Cerebro, I'll put them at C. You used to see a bunch of Cerebro cards, Cerebro decks, but Cerebro's, I don't know if Cerebro's as good as they used to be, but I'll put Cerebro at C, coming in at a 3 cost but 0 power. And their ability is that the highest powered cards on your side of the location, obviously, get, I believe it's +2 or +3 power. So if the highest power cards on your board are 3 costs, 3 power, Cerebro will buff them to 5 or 6 power. I don't know how much power they get exactly, but yeah, so Cerebro is pretty strong, especially if you're running a deck where the cards have all the same power. Yeah, I used to see a bunch of Cerebro decks, but I don't really know where they went. And I guess Cerebro is just solid. That's all I've got to say, to be honest. Colin Wing, I'll put her at C as well. 2 cost or 4 power, so she's pretty strong for a 2 cost. She discards the lowest cost card in your hand. So you'll see a lot of people run her in destroy decks with Swarm, because when you destroy Swarm, you get back 2 copies of Swarm, and they both cost 0. So you definitely see her a lot in those discard decks. And yeah, she's just pretty solid. Crossbones, criminally underrated. I'm gonna put him at C, but he is so underrated. A 4 cost, 8 power, so he's really, really strong. However, you can only play him at locations you are winning. I guess similar to Adam Warlock, where with Adam Warlock, like I said before, if you're winning the location, you end up drawing an extra card. However, with Crossbones, if you're winning the location, you can only play him at locations you're winning at. So if you're winning one location, you can only play him at that location. So it is kind of tough to play him, but works very well in an aggressive deck where you try to win one lane she's gone in D, maybe even E. But for now I'll go D. So with Crystal, I believe her ability is when you play her at the middle location, your hand goes back into your deck and you redraw 3 cards, I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't play her like at all, so I could be so wrong. I mean, and she's not the greatest, you know, the fact that you get 3 new cards, I mean, you could get 3 really good cards from your deck, but 99% of the time, that's really not how it's gonna go down. I don't think I've ever seen a deck used around her, but, you know, she's solid. 4 cost, 4 power. I mean, yeah, she's just there. We have Dagger. I'll put her at C. Very solid in a movement deck, even though she looks weak, 2 cost, 1 power. However, when you move her to another location, the location she moves to, however many cards your opponent has there, she'll gain plus, I believe it's plus 2 power. So, if she moves over to a location and your opponent has like 3 cards there, that's instantly plus 6. And she gets that every time she moves around, right? So if she moves 3 cards your opponent has there, she gets plus 6. She might move again to a location your opponent only has 1 card, that's plus 2. So she can become very strong very quick, and she's very solid in a movement deck. Daredevil. Oh, B or C? I'm gonna put him in C. I like Daredevil. He's a 2 cost, 2 power, but his ability is on turn 5, you basically get to see what and where your opponent are playing their cards. So he's very good in a control deck where you have like Professor X or Hobgoblin, because you can play the perfect Professor X to stop them from playing, you know, like a certain card, or you can play Hobgoblin to win a location. So he's very, very good. But other than his ability, I guess he's just solid. But I mean, I could see him at B because his ability is really, really good. Now we have Deadpool, who I'll also put him at C. Of course, 1 cost, 1 power. However, every time you destroy him, his power doubles and you get him back in your hand. So you will see him in Deathpool decks. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that term before, where it is Deadpool and Lady Death. And basically, you have a bunch of cards like Carnage, Deathlock, Venom, and essentially every chance you get to destroy Deadpool, you're gonna want to take it because his power doubles every time. So Deadpool, I've seen him as high as like 26, which is nuts. So Deadpool can become really, really strong. And also Lady Death, you know, the more cards you destroy, the cheaper she becomes. So on turn 6 you have like a 26 power Deadpool, a 12 power Death, and potentially even like a She-Hulk. So like there's just a bunch of like crazy decks you can use with Deadpool. He might even be up at B just for his ability alone, but I'm gonna go C. Death, I'll put her at C as well, even though she is like crazy strong. I did touch on her before, but her ability is for every card destroyed this game, whether it's your opponent destroying cards or you destroying cards or whatever, she will become 1 less. So she'll cost 1 less. So, like I was saying before, she could become a 0 cost 12 power at the best. So, really, really strong. Works well with Deadpool. And yeah, I just got them in C for now. Next, we have Debris. She's gone in C as well. I know it's a lot of cards in C, but again, I'm probably going to change these all around at the end. So Debris' ability is she places rocks at every other location she's not played at, right? damage your opponents. So she takes up a spot with those rocks at each location. However, she can very much disrupt your opponent's plans because, again, she takes up that spot with the rock, and a rock doesn't do anything unless you have like a Patriot deck. But yeah, she's a very good disruption card. Destroyer. Hey man, I don't think I'll put him at A. I love Destroyer. 6 cost, 16 power. His ability is that he destroys every single card on your side of the board. However, you will see a lot of people run Destroyer with like armor, with Cosmo, because Cosmo will stop his on reveal from activating. He's basically like a lane winner with that 16 power. And the main deck I think of when I see Destroyer is the ongoing Destroyer deck, where people have, again, armor, Cosmo. You have cards like Warpath, who works wonders with Destroyer, and like Nova, and like a bunch of other cards. So Destroyer, he's really, really good. So yeah, I've got him in A. Doctor Doom, I put him in B. I like Doctor Doom. I mean, 6 cost, 5 power is pretty weak, but his ability is he places 5 power Doombots at each other location that he's not played at. So basically, if you play him on the left, he'll play 1 5 power Doombot down the middle and 1 over on the right. So it's kind of like White Tiger, except a little bit different. He's very good at, spreading power across the board, which is nice. Can potentially win you the game. He can play cards into locations like Sanctum Sanctorum, where cards can't even be played over there, so he's very good. I like him, he's pretty solid. Doc Ock, I'm putting him at C. I know he's a 5 cost, 10 power, which is nuts. His ability is that he pulls 4 random cards from your opponent's hand onto their side of the location he's played at, if I explain that correctly. So if I play Doc Ock down the middle, he will pull 4 random cards from the opponent's hand and just play them randomly down the middle. It depends, because if your opponent already has 4 cards there, then he's not going to pull any cards. If your opponent has like 2 cards there, he'll just pull 2 random cards from their hand. So basically, he'll just like 4 stack the location instantly, but it's pretty good because your opponent could be holding cards in their hand, waiting for the final turn, and then 4 of those cards are gone. So he's pretty solid, but yeah, that's it. He's just solid. Dracula. Now, I'm gonna put him at B. I was thinking about C, but then I was like, nah, I'm gonna put him at B because even though he's a 4 cost, 0 power, his ability is that at the end of the game, he discards 1 random card from your hand and basically takes their power. So he can potentially discard like an Infernaut and gain 20 power, or he can discard like Iceman and get 2. It all depends, but of course the art decks based around Dracula, where you do have, Infernaut, Magneto, Giganto. So basically, if you have like one of those 3 cards in your hand, Dracula's gonna get at least 12 plus power, so he's very, very strong, or he can be very strong. So that's why I have him at B. Drax, I mean, I'm gonna have to go C. I was tempted to put him at D, but he's definitely not as bad as these cards. But Drax, just like all the other Guardians of the Galaxy's abilities, when you do play him at a location your opponent is playing a card at, he gains, I believe, plus 3 power now. I think it's 3. It used to be less, but I'm pretty sure they buffed him. But yeah, just the same as like Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Gamora, and Groot. You have to basically predict where your opponent is playing, and if you're ongoing is that you can only play one card each turn, which kind of does suck. You will see a lot of people use Electro in like Electro ramp decks because it gives you that +1 energy, which can help out tremendously. Also, you can destroy Electro, so you still get his on reveal of +1 max energy, but his ongoing is gone, so you can play more than one card every turn. So there's a lot of good things with Electro. That's why I'd rather it be a lot of decks around him, especially ramp decks. So he's actually pretty good. Falcon, I'll put him at C. I don't really see a lot of people use him, but he's a 2-cost 3 power, and his ability is that when you play him, all the 1-cost cards that you've played, he ends up picking them back up and putting them back into your hand. Unlike Beast, he doesn't reduce their cost by 1, which does suck, and it is only 1-cost cards. However, it is throughout the entire board, so no matter where you play him, he'll swoop up all those 1-cost cards. So he can be pretty good, but he's just solid. Gambit, I will keep him at C. 3-cost 1 power, so he's pretty weak, but his ability is that you discard a card from your hand to essentially destroy a card that your opponent has played on their side of the board. I'm sure you guys have seen some clips where there's been like Wong, Mystique, Onslaught, and then Gambit just like destroying every single card your opponent has. If you have no cards in your hand and Gambit's ability is activated, don't worry. He'll just destroy your opponent's card, and you won't lose any cards from like your deck or whatever. But outside of those like really crazy clips where he just like destroys like the entire board, I don't know. He's just there. He's solid. He's like a highlight machine. That's about it. Ghost Rider. He could be at B, but I'll keep him at C because his ability is that he brings back one card that has been discarded. So, if you play Colin Wing, she discards Swarm or whatever. Or let's say you play Blade discards Infinite. If you play Ghost Rider, he will bring back Infinite at the same location Ghost Rider has been played at. Of course, if he's like the final card you play at a location and there's already 4 cards there, he just won't bring back the card that was discarded. So, yeah, you kind of have to. He's almost like Jubilee, except he brings back discarded cards. So he's actually pretty good though. Giganto, I'll put him at B. His power is off the charts at a 14 power. However, his ability is you can only play him at the leftmost location. So you can't play him down the middle, can't play him on the right, you can only play him on the left, which can suck. Does restrict them a lot. However, again, with Dracula, he works wonders because Dracula can discard him, boom, 14 power instantly. So, other than that, he's just a powerhouse. We have Goose. Goose could go up, but I don't really use Goose all that much. I believe Goose's ability is that when he's played, no one can play 4, 5, or 6 cost cards at the location he's at. So, he can almost like soft lock a location for you because, if your opponent's waiting and like holding out to win the location with like a crazy 6 cost play, if you play Goose on the turn before, then his ability negates it, and it's basically just a location filled with 1, 2, and 3 cost cards. So, yeah, he's pretty solid, but he's kind of difficult to use at times. Now we have Green Goblin. I'll put him at C. 3 cost, -3 power. The exact same ability as Hobgoblin. When you play it, your opponent gets control of the card. And yeah, he's as annoying as Hobgoblin, except cheaper and C. Only because with the introduction of Luke Cage, who we'll be ranking later, Hazmat has seen a little bit of a rise. There are decks where she works well with like Wong, like I said before, Luke Cage, and a bunch of other cards. Her ability is on reveal -1, I believe. I believe it's -1. -1 power to all cards on the board, whether it's on your side or your opponent's side, no matter what location they're played at. So she's pretty annoying. Again, Luke Cage works well because his ongoing is that no cards on your side of the board can get negative power. So, you know, with Hazmat, your opponent just gets hit with all the negative power. So, yeah, she's pretty good. I have seen some crazy plays where people have like Wong, Mystique, Hazmat, and as well as Luke Cage. So, yeah, it's just a crazy combo you can play with her. Hella, she's gone up to B. 6 cost, 6 power, so not very strong, but she works well in so many discard decks because her ability is every card you discarded this game, she brings them back just randomly throughout the board, no matter what location. So, if you discard a bunch of really strong cards, again, Infinite, Giganto, Magneto, wherever, she'll bring them all back, just in random locations. So, a bit unpredictable, but that's a lot of power she's bringing back. Especially with the addition of Murdoch in this new season. Yeah, the synergy will be nuts. So, she's gone up to B. Hellcow, C tier. Very strong at a 4 cost, 6 power. Their ability is they discard 2 cards from your hand, so again, very well in discard decks. And like other than that, you know, they're just very solid in discard decks, like I said before. Discarding 2 cards from your hand works well if you have Hela or Ghost Rider, so yeah. Human Torch, C tier. 1 cost, 2 power, and every time you move him, his power doubles. So kind of like Deadpool, except rather than getting destroyed, it's every time you move him, and he also starts off at 2 power. He's actually pretty good. I've seen a lot of movement decks where he can get up to crazy amounts of power because people have like Iron Fist, Human Torch, Cloak, Heimdall, you know, Doctor Strange, whatever. So he can build power really, really quickly. So yeah, very good in a movement deck. Invisible Woman, I'll put her at C. Personally, I love Invisible Woman. Like, I really do. I have so many decks where I will have Invisible Woman that kind of like keep my heavy hitters safe. You know, I'll have Wong behind Invisible Woman, same with like Black Panther, and just like a bunch of other cards, because I'm sure if you guys know, if you play like a Wong or something, people either play Cosmo or Enchantress. However, if you play them behind Invisible Woman, they don't know who you're playing, so they can either guess, or, you know, they're just gonna have to let it be, but she's very solid with her ability. Mighty Thor. I'm sorry, dude, she has to go down to D. She used to be really good. 5 cost, 8 power, so she's pretty strong. Her ability is she draws all 0 cost cards from your deck and puts it into your hand. So, like I said, she can be good. She really only works well with Thor. If you guys don't know, Thor's ability is you draw Mjolnir when you play him, and Mjolnir is a 0 cost card. So a lot of the time, people will play Thor, then they'll play Mighty Thor in order to get Mjolnir into their hand, and then on turn 6 they'll play, you know, some crazy cards alongside of Mjolnir to give Thor that +6 power. So, those two cards to just some random location other than the location Juggernaut was played at. So he might move one card to the left, one to the right, both to the right or both to the left, depending. Of course, if all the other locations are full, his ability doesn't really work, but most of the time you'll see people use Storm and then Juggernaut to win Flooded. Like I said, basically an instant lane winner. Works very well on turn 6 as well if you think your opponent might try to win a location, and then boom, Juggernaut. So he's very, very good. Like, even though he's a 3 cost 3 power, do not sleep on him. He's an instant lane winner. Kingpin, I'll put him at C. 3 cost 4 power, pretty meh. His ability is on turn 6. Any cards that move to the location that Kingpin is at, they get destroyed. So similar to Fisk Tower, where if any cards move to that location at all, and they just get destroyed, Kingpin basically turns into Fisk Tower on turn 6. So a lot of time you'll see people play Kingpin. They'll wait until turn 6, play Arrow, where Kingpin's at. Arrow will pull all the opponent's cards to Kingpin. Since his ability is active, boom, they're all destroyed. So there was at one point in time a good Kingpin Arrow synergy, but I don't really know what happened to that. But yeah, that's why it's at C. Leader. Now, I'm gonna put him at C, but I'm sure as most of you guys do know, he would have automatically gone up to S if he didn't just get nerfed. I haven't used him after the nerf, so I don't know how he's gonna play, but he's definitely not as good as he once was. 6 cost, 4 power. His ability is, you copy what your opponent has played to the location on the right. It sounds a bit confusing, but if I play Leader on the left and my opponent plays a card, no matter how many cards, if they play a card down the middle, then Leader will copy their cards. However, if my opponent plays a card on the rightmost location and I still have Leader on the left, I don't believe he copies them. So he definitely got heavily nerfed, which sucks. Like I said, I haven't really used him at all since he got nerfed, but he's not as good as he once was. Like, he used to be the best card in the game, but now he's not, which sucks, but he was kind of annoying. Lockjaw, I'll put him at C. I have seen a lot of people have tremendous success with Lockjaw decks, but for me personally, the RNG is crazy. So Lockjaw's ability is when you play him, any card you play, I guess like after him at that location, you play them, and then they get swapped out with a card in your deck. I know they added a new location that's almost the same as that in this new season. I don't remember what it's called. I believe it's like the Quantum Tunnel. So basically, if I play Lockjaw and then I play like Iceman, Iceman's ability will activate, hit my opponent with a +1 cost, and then Iceman gets swapped out for a card in my deck, and then that card, whether they have an ongoing or on reveal ability, it'll activate, and then yeah, that's basically it. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people have success with Lockjaw decks, but there's so much RNG to what cards you get in your deck or from your deck. So yeah, and I guess another good thing is that you play a card there, it gets swapped into your deck, you have the potential to play that card again, so it can be pretty good. Magic, I'll put it at C. There was a point in time where she would have been like B or A because she was so strong, but now she's just at C because her ability is when you play her at a location, she changes that location to Limbo, and for those that don't know, Limbo makes sure this game. So she basically adds an extra turn. She can get rid of a bad location. Again, replace it with Limbo, give you the +1 turn, which is nice. Pretty weak, 5 cost, 3 power, but she has like a secondary ability where you can only, I believe you can only play her on turn 5, or you can only play her before turn 6. Because a lot of the time people would use magic on turn 6 to extend the game by that 1 turn, and by that point the opponent's already played like their power play. So yeah, that's why they gave her like that little extra ability where you can only play her on turn 5 or earlier. So yeah, but she's still pretty decent. Magneto, I'll go B, only because he's a 6 cost but 12 power. Like, that dude is strong. But yeah, his ability is that you move all opposing 3 and 4 cost cards to where he's played at, and it means all. If they have more than like 3 or if they have more than 4 cards, then of course he only takes like 4 with them. But a huge game changer, can potentially win you a lane if you're lucky. Plus he's also 12 power, so he's super duper strong. So yeah, he's up at B. Now we have Maximus. He'll go and C. 3 cost, 7 power. So I believe he's like the strongest 3 cost in the game to date. His ability is your opponent draws 2 cards from their deck, which most of the time is not as good as it seems, because your opponent might have like a 5, or you might have 5 cards in your hand. Your opponent plays a Maximus, you get 2 extra cards that might not be what you want, because then next turn you can't even draw a card. So it can potentially suck. But yeah, he's just very strong. Mr. Negative, he's gone in C as well. 4 cost, -1 power. He used to be like 2 power or something, but he got nerfed hard. So his ability is that he swaps all the power and cost of your cards in your deck. So if I had, let's say, Black Cat in my deck, and I played Mr. Negative, Black Cat would be a 6 cost, 3 power, which obviously sucks. If I had someone like Doc Ock would be, I don't believe it's a 10 cost, because that's like impossible. So I believe it would be a 6 cost, 5 power, because the highest is 6. If it's like Deadpool, it's 1 for 1, doesn't really matter. If Mysterio can be pretty good. Works surprisingly well in a Patriot deck because, the illusions don't have any abilities, so they will get the buffs from that, from Patriot's abilities. So, yeah, I don't know, they're pretty solid. Mystique has to go up to A. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Mystique is so good. She copies. Her ability is on reveal. You copy the last. If the last card you played had an ongoing ability, she copies it. So if I play Wong and then I play Mystique, Mystique will copy Wong's ability. However, if I play like Arrow and then I try to play Mystique, it won't work because Arrow doesn't have an ongoing, just an on reveal. Also, if I play like a Wasp and then I play Mystique, then of course she won't copy the Wasp's ability because she has none. But very, very strong, dude. So many decks with Mystique. Plus, she has a really cool variant coming out soon, which looks awesome. Nick Fury, I'll put him at C. He wasn't really that good when he first released in the, I believe it was like the Sword and Shield season. 5 cost, 7 power is pretty good, and his ability is, when you play him, you get 3 random 6 cost cards into your hand. Which sounds nice, but the fact that you basically only play him on turn 5 because of that cost, you can only play one of those 3 6 cost cards that you ended up getting on turn 6. And most of the time, it's like the same 3 6 costs. It's like Thanos, Galactus, and like Infinite, and you can't play Infinite because you already played a card last turn, so yeah. But he's just strong, that's basically it. Omega Red, underrated as, him and Crossbones are criminally underrated, but I'm gonna put him in C. 4 cost, 5 power. His ability is ongoing, and if you're winning the location he's played at by more than 10, all the other locations get, I believe it's like +3 or +4 power. So he works really well in like an aggressive deck. Like I said before, very underrated because even though you do have to win a location by 10 in order for his ability to activate, those extra like +3 or +4 points that he gives the other locations are like really, really crucial, dude. Like, he can instantly turn the tide of a game. That's how good he is. So, yeah, he's so underrated because you don't see him a whole bunch. Patriot, I'm putting Patriot up at B. But he could be at A. So Patriot, I've been talking about him a bit already, but his ability is all cards that have no ability, they get +2 power. So you will see a lot of people when they run a Patriot deck, they will have Mystique to copy his ability, and they'll have, like Brood, because the Broodlings have no abilities, so they will gain that plus like 2-3 power. They might run Debris because the Rocks also have no abilities. They'll be running alongside Shocker, Cyclops. So yeah, his ability is so good. There are a bunch of Patriot decks out there that are amazing, so that's why he's all the way at B. Polaris, she is down at C. 3 cost, 5 power, so she's pretty strong. Red Skull, I'm gonna unfortunately have to put them down at C just because 5 cost, 15 power is nuts, but his ability is your opponent's cards at the location he's played at gain plus, I believe it's like plus 2 power, which if your opponent has like 4 cards there, that's plus 8 off rip. So like, his ability kind of sucks, but you know, if you have like a 0 and you run like 0 Red Skull, that can work. But other than that, his ability kind of holds him back a bit. Rescue, C tier, 4 cost, 4 power. Her ability is basically the same as Hawkeye's. So if you play Rescue, if you play a card at the location she's played at on the next turn, she'll gain, I believe it's like plus 4 power, which is pretty good. That makes her an 8 power. You can't play Rescue and then play another card after her on the same turn because then her ability just won't work. It's only on the next turn, so keep that in mind. Rock Slide, C tier. Been seeing a lot more decks with Rock Slide in it, just because his ability is basically the same as Korg. However, when you play him, you shuffle 2 rocks in your opponent's deck besides 1. Decently strong, 4 cost, 6 power. You see a lot of Rock Slide with Wong just because that turns it into 4 rocks into your opponent's deck, so they have more of a chance of drawing a rock. So, yeah. Rogue, C tier, 3 cost, 1 power. Her ability seems a lot better than it usually is, which is she steals a random ongoing ability from your opponent. So if your opponent has like a Devil Dinosaur and you play Rogue will steal Devil Dinosaur's ability and take it for her own, so then she'll, you know, gain like plus 2 power for every card in your hand, and the Devil Dinosaur on your opponent's side won't have any ability because it got stolen. Same if it's like Iron Man, she'll steal Iron Man's ability. That Iron Man on the opponent's side won't double the power. However, Rogue will double your power. She only steals abilities at the location she's played at, and most of the time though, she ends up stealing the wrong one, because if there's 2 cards with 2 ongoing, it will just be like RNG 50-50. But yeah, she can be pretty good, can be annoying. But yeah, she's just a C. Ronin, I do not use him, but I'm gonna go C. I'm pretty sure he got changed recently, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong because I don't use him. 5 cost, 3 power, but his ability is for every card your opponent has in their hand, he gains plus like 2 power, maybe. Works well with like, you know, Maximus or any other cards that maybe add more to your opponent's hand. Like I said, I don't really use him, so I don't really have an opinion, but I guess he can be strong. Sarah, I'm gonna have to put her A. One of the strongest cards in the game. 5 cost, 5 power. Her ability is ongoing, and basically when you play her, your cards cost 1 less. So, you know, if you play her on turn 5, on turn 6, you know, if you have a Mystique in your hand, she'll cost 2, Dracula will cost like 3, so on and so forth. So, very good at like getting a bunch of cards down as well. You see her a lot with Magic, because, you know, Magic can extend the game, and Sarah, -1 to every cost, for the -1 to every cost card in your hand. I definitely said that wrong. But yeah, she's pretty solid. Spider-Man, he's going to B. Which I don't know if you guys expect him to be a B, but he's like so annoying. His ability is your opponent can't play any cards at the location location he's played at on the next turn. So if I play Spider-Man on turn 5, on turn 6 my opponent can't play any card at the location he just got played at. So he's very good at winning a lane. He can be very annoying. And yeah, like, there's nothing much to say other than you mainly use him on turn 5, so that 4 cost kinda does come in handy. And yeah, he can just win a game just like that for you. Taskmaster, he's going up on a B. B for now, could go up to A, but his ability is he copies the power of the last card you played. So if you play someone like Red Skull on turn 5, on turn 6 you play Taskmaster. Taskmaster will copy that 15 power of Red Skull, which is nuts. So yeah, that's really, really good. If you play like, if you play Red Skull and then you play like Black Widow and then you play Taskmaster, Taskmaster will copy Black Widow's ability because it's the last card you played. So, copies power. So do keep that in mind, but he can copy some crazy amounts of power, dude. Hood, I'll put him at C. He's very solid. 1 cost, -2 power, which kinda sucks, but you see a lot of people use him in like destroy decks because they play him, and his ability is that you get a 1 cost 6 power demon in your hand. But a lot of people play him, get that demon in their hand, and then destroy him to get rid of that negative power. Thor, going to C. His ability, like I said before when I was explaining Mighty Thor, is you get a 0 cost Mjolnir into your deck, and when you play Mjolnir, you get that +6 power, which puts him up to 10. Like I said, very good with Mighty Thor, because Mighty Thor draws all 0 cost cards. But he's still better than Mighty Thor, like by himself. You can play like a Wong, Mjolnir, or whatever, so he's actually pretty good in like an unrevealed deck. So that's why it's at C. Typhoid Mary, she's going at C. Similar to Red Skull, even though she's like very strong, her ability kind of holds her back. 4 cost 10 power, and her ability is it's ongoing, which kind of sucks, but it's all cards on your side of the board, no matter what location, get inflicted with -1 power. So if I have like, Doc Ock somewhere, and then I play Typhoid Mary, Doc Ock becomes a 9 power, so on and so forth. She does work really well with Luke Cage, because like I said before when I was explaining Hazmat, Luke Cage's ability is cards can't have their power decreased, so it kind of just negates her ongoing, which is really, really nice. But yeah, she's just pretty solid. Ultron, C tier as well. 6 cost 8 power is not the strongest. However, his ability is he creates 4 1 cost 1 power Ultron bots at the other locations he's not played at. Of course, if you already have like 2 cards at a location, you just create 2 Ultron bots, so on and so forth. I love him in a Patriot deck because those Ultron bots, first of all, come in clutch, and second of all, he can spread the board super quickly. Third of all, those Ultron bots have no abilities, so they get that like +2 from Patriot, and you can just spread so much power throughout the board and have like a crazy turn 6 play. So that's why I like Ultron. Venom could go up to B. I'll put him at B. His ability is, even though it's a 3 cost 1 power, his ability is he destroys every card at the location he's played at, and he kind of just like absorbs their energy, right? Or their power, sorry. So if I have Hellcow and like Leader at a location, and then I play Venom, Venom will she might be a D tier. I don't really know, but her ability is your opponent gains control of a random card that you have. I guess, if I explain it right. So if I have, let's say, a rock at a location, and then I play Viper, Viper will give the rock to my opponent. So my opponent now has a rock. So that's like one of the reasons why she can be pretty good. She can, I guess, like reverse a green goblin or a hobgoblin if you play it on like turn 6. So that could be pretty funny. But other than that, I guess she's just solid. Wasp. Listen, I'm gonna play her at C. A lot of you might disagree, but in my opinion, I really like her because she works with wonders in a Patriot deck. Other than that, I mean, she has no abilities, she's not that strong, she's like one of the only zero cost cards in the game. And yeah, other than that, she's not really good, but I just love her in Patriot decks, so she has some value there. Wave, 1000%, she has to go up to like A or B. But Wave, her ability is when you play her, on the next turn, all cards cost 4. No matter how expensive or how cheap they are, they all cost 4. So if you have Death in your hand and you play Wave, Death will now become 4 regardless. Giganto will become 4, like everyone will become 4 cost on the next turn. So there's a lot of like crazy plays you can do with Wave. That's why she's all the way up at A, because she's pretty good and she stayed good. Wong. Wong might be like my first S tier. If I don't swap these around, but Wong is 1000% S tier. His ability is ongoing, and the ability is on reveal abilities happen twice. So basically he's like a Kamartage. He is so freaking good. Works wonders with like Black Panther, works wonders with a bunch of other cards. Like, it's insane. You can use Mystique to copy his ability. You can use Onslaught to double his ability. Like, it's nuts, but like, he is so freaking good. The only counter is Enchantress, who will get rid of his ability, or Cosmo. But other than that, Wong, White Tiger, Odin is crazy. Yellow Jacket, I'm gonna have to put him at D, maybe even E, or even F, because he's not that good. He's a 0 cost, 2 power, a little bit stronger than Wasp. However, his ability is on reveal. All your other cards, I don't know if it's at that location or just on the board. I believe it's just on the board. All your other cards get -1. So it's like Hazmat, except only for your cards, which sucks. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone play him. Again, 0 cost, but he has that ability that just completely makes him like, you don't want to play him. So yeah, that's why it's all the way at F. He has to be like the worst card, most useless card in the game. 0, I'll put 0 at C. 1 cost, 3 power is pretty good, and also his ability is the next card you play, their ability gets like negated, stripped away, whatever you want to call it. So if I have Red Skull, this is a really good combo. 0, then Red Skull. Because Red Skull has that ongoing that gives your opponent +2 power. Boom, gone. So, you know, it actually works really well, again, with like a Typhoid Mary Red Skull, so 0 is pretty solid. Miles Morales, C. Very good in a movement deck because his ability is when anyone moves a card, whether it's you or your opponent, he costs 1 on the next turn. So I mean, you know, he's pretty good. Well, he's not pretty good. His ability amazing. Again, works wonders with Typhoid Mary in a hazmat deck. And yeah, I 1000% love him. She-Hulk. She has to be up S as well, dude. Even though technically she's like a Series 4 Pull 4 card that just got dropped down. She's a 6 cost 10 power, so she is so strong. And her ability is she costs 1 less for every energy unspent last turn. So she works really well with like a Sunspot. Works well, I guess, with like Infinite. But yeah, she can become a 1 cost 10 power card, which is nuts. So yeah, she works wonders, very strong regardless, and you can basically play her so often, you know, and yeah, she's just amazing. And last but certainly not least is Titania, who I'll put at B tier as well. So she is a 1 cost 5 power, which is very strong for a 1 cost. Her ability is when anyone plays a card at the location she's played at, whether it's you or your opponent, she jumps sides, right? So she jumps back and forth a lot, which you might be thinking that brings her down. However, if you play it right, she can like win your location, she can play wonders, and like, dude, she's awesome. She's like so awesome to have as a card. And I mean, yeah, there's really nothing much I can say. Like, her ability makes her a little bit unpredictable, but if you play it correctly, she can work really well. But I mean, yeah, guys. So this is my final tier list. We only have 2 S tier cards with Wong and She-Hulk. A lot of cards at C tier because they're all just pretty decent. And then, you know, you have the D tier cards, which are like cards you don't really see a whole lot of people use that are like pretty meh. And then of course F, which is reserved for Yellow Jacket because he just sucks. But yeah, that is my tier list of Pull 3, I guess, / Pull 4 cards. Pull 4 that came down to Pull 3. So let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. If you guys agree, disagree, what would you swap around? I'd love to hear it all down in the comments below. And yeah, if you guys do want to see another tier list, regardless of what it might be, regardless of what the tier list might be about, let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you guys did like the video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to show support.